what if you could improve your health, your productivity, and your creativity all with one simple change in your life? Sound pretty good? I think so. I'm Brenda, Florida, life coach and lifestyle advisor, and I'm getting ready to launch a 5-day Facebook challenge that I'm really excited about. And I wanted to talk about it this morning in this Live Lavishly Light episode. In fact, you'll want to act really quickly on this because the challenge is starting today on Monday, July 16th. But there's time for you to still hop in and join us. So I'll give you the link to register down in the information about this video. But here's what I was doing. I was doing some research on the negative effects of stress. And so like one thing that was really a little surprising to me was that, of course, when we're very stressed out and have any sort of sustained levels of stress, our brain releases a lot of cortisol. It's a hormone, and it releases it under any amount of stress. But of course, if you have stress for 5 minutes and recover, not very much is released. But we've all gotten so used to these really sustained periods of stress where for days or weeks or sometimes months, we feel stressed more often than we feel calm or relaxed or, any of those things. And so all this cortisol is pouring into our bodies from our brains that are giving us that in that kind of flight or fight response, right? So it's a good thing. The brain has good intentions, but we've just created for our lives in this point in the 21st century such long sustained periods of stress. That's where the problem comes in. So I was doing a little research on this, and it was either WebMD or the Mayo Clinic that said all those increased levels of cortisone in your body will make you 5 times more likely to actually die from a heart attack. So I would have thought to be at risk of a heart attack, but you're actually at risk of dying from that heart attack. So we don't want that. So we've got to do something. I mean, I think you'll all agree, like it's just time to do something about the stress in our lives. And so I was also looking at, so what do we do about this kind of a thing? Because I'm a very practical, pragmatic person. And, come to find out, one of the best antidotes to it is actually happiness. And I like to think of happiness as being born from acts of pleasure, right? Anything that we do that gives us pleasure. It could be a very small thing, like having a really relaxing, lovely cup of coffee in the morning, or it could be, going on vacation. It could be a much bigger thing. It can be smaller things like acts of self-pleasure, whether it's, self-love in any sort of way, just appreciating and loving yourself, to appreciating your body and all the great things it does for you, instead of normally we look at our bodies and that just puts us in a state of stress because we're so busy criticizing and judging ourselves, to sexual pleasure, to the pleasure of creating something, right? When we get into a project or we're doing something new and we're just really loving the act of creation and learning. So all of these pleasurable activities are actually going to save your life. So that's what we're going to focus on in our 5-day challenge. It is the Pleasure Power 5-day challenge. And every day I'm going to send you an email with a little recording for, less than 10 minutes that will have something about the theme that we're going to talk about that day, focus on that day, and then the challenge. And then you go decide what you want to do in the challenge and post it in this private Facebook group. So that's all there is to it. It won't be very time consuming. You can start today, even though you won't get the email. You'll get your first email tomorrow. But as soon as you register, you'll have the link to join the private Facebook group. And then I'll put the recording also in there. So you can go pick up today's recording there. And then you'll start getting the emails tomorrow. And we're going to have a fun drawing at the end of the week. I have a beautiful friend who makes beautiful jewelry. So I've commissioned a bracelet from her that's going to say Pleasure Power on it to remind you of how you helped save your life this week. And I mean that literally, not, figuratively or metaphorically, by introducing a few moments of pleasure that's very intentional and purposeful each day. So hop on over now and register for the challenge so that you'll get the invite to the Facebook group. That'll come in an email right away. Like right after you register, you'll get this email that'll give you the link to join the Facebook group. You can pick up today's recording there, and then tomorrow you'll start getting the emails with the recordings in your inbox. So join us right away because you deserve pleasure in your life. I'm Brenda, Florida, life coach and lifestyle advisor. Thanks for being with me.